And I'm Tamara Henry. Welcome to Santa Monica Update.
Santa Monica Update, your source for local news in Santa Monica.
Overcoming addiction, coming up next.
Substance abuse is a problem by itself, but it often contributes to other problems: crime, homelessness, child abuse. The Clare Foundation offers help to those in need. And here to tell us more about these programs and more, Executive Director Nicholas Vrateric. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the history of the Clare Foundation.
Clare was founded in 1970 by some concerned citizens in Santa Monica who noticed the alcoholics and addicts gathering on the beaches, and they started first by providing referrals, and then they started doing detox, and today we have about 207 beds, provide services to over 25,000 people through 10 different programs. So we've grown quite a bit.
So you have 10 programs. What are some of the programs that you offer?
Well, we divide our programs up into residential programs and non-residential programs. And I might give you an idea of what it's like if I could maybe tell you about what a client might look like as they go through Clare. This might be somebody who has been drinking and using maybe for 10 or 15 years. Their family is done with them, won't have them. Some of them change their telephone numbers and addresses and won't tell the alcoholic or the addict where they're living. They may be held on to a job for a while and tried a rehab or two, and that didn't work out for them. And as you kind of bounce down these steps into deeper and deeper problems from addiction and alcoholism, Clare is kind of the bottom of the steps. And you come in and we have a detox that might last 3 to 5 days. Almost all drugs can be detoxed non-medically, and that's our program. It's a non-medical detox. After that, if you're able to, you'll get a bed in our 30-day program, and then you'll start dealing with some of the issues, start going to some meetings, 12-step groups, and then if you're lucky enough, you can get into our 6-month program, and after that we have a sober living. So you can be with us for 2.5 years, and all studies show that the longer you're in recovery, the better chance you'll have of staying sober.
So someone would actually live there for 2.5 years, and in the meantime they're getting off drugs and alcohol, they're learning skills to get back in the workforce and to straighten their life up. Right.
Clare's continuum of care, for us, success means staying sober, having stable living when you leave us, and a job. So those are important parts of our program.
Now you said you have 207 beds. Are they full?
Always full.
Always full.
Always full.
So there's a waiting list, huh?
We accept people regardless of their ability to pay. So when it's free, when you're done with the $20,000 a month programs and you've tried all those others, you'll come to Clare, and we've been doing it for a long time, and we do a really good job of it.
So it's free. You don't charge anything, or do some people pay?
Some people do pay.
And what do they pay? If, based on like a sliding scale?
It is a sliding scale. The minimum self-pay is $500. But if you can't afford it, we will treat you for free. The county provides us money and helps pay for some of those.
Is that $500 a month? Or
yes, $500 a month, including room and board, and all your treatment. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just for men. You also have things for women and children, right?
We do. We have our programming all the way through Clare is both for men and women. And we went to gender-specific programming about 3 years ago. It's been one of the best things we've done, where women really recover and go through recovery in a different way from men. And we found that being able to address those issues separately, not only for women, but for men, has been very powerful. We do have a sober living for single mothers and their children. It's often a horrible choice that a mother with a child will face, either admitting she's addicted or an alcoholic and possibly losing her child, or staying addicted and really damaging that child's life. And instead, DCFS, the Department of Children and Family Services, works with us and allows these mothers to recover with their children. And addiction really stops, so it's a whole family that's healing. And the children are some of the most important people in recovery in that process.
Yeah. Well, changing gears here, now many of our prisons are filled with substance abusers, and then Proposition 36 was just passed, so that really changed things. And how is that working so far?
That's been an unmitigated success. Prop 36 was passed 5 years ago by the voters of California, and they were right. 60% of them voted for treatment versus incarceration. And it has been proven that that has worked not only in terms of getting people into recovery and sober, it has worked in terms of taxpayer dollars, which is one of the bases of the proposition. For every $2.50 spent in prisons and other kinds of form, $1 is spent in treatment. So by spending $1 in treatment, you save $2.50 in taxes.
Okay, so what do we need to do here in Santa Monica to put a dent in substance abuse?
Well, the big issue is really, if I can address it through another door, is the homeless issue. Alcoholism and addiction is one of the leading causes the leading cause of homeless. And we have found that by getting people sober, by turning their lives around, by eliminating the real cause of their homelessness, people will come off and really turn their lives around 180 degrees, go from despair and no hope to a positive attitude, getting a job, working, paying taxes, being a contributing member of society. So to deal with the issue of substance abuse and alcoholism by itself it's a public health issue. And you often hear people look at it and say, why don't they just quit? Why? I mean, I myself am in recovery. I've been in recovery for 17 years. And that's how I used to think about myself. Why don't you just quit?
Right.
But when you look at it as a disease, a chronic, progressive, relapsing, lethal disease, it becomes a different issue. Instead of being a bad person trying to get good, you become a sick person trying to get well, and you only need some resources. Once offered those resources, people often will respond.
Yeah.
They have to be ready. It has to be their turn. Some people need to, as you say, relapse and go through it again.
And one last quick question. Do you need volunteers there? Can people
We
volunteer?
do need volunteers.
You do need volunteers.
We do need volunteers, and we need help and we need support. So.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on the show and
My
educating us
pleasure.
about Claire. Thanks for all the information. Nicholas Verterick, Executive Director of the Clare Foundation in Santa Monica. And if you'd like more information, call the number on your screen or go to the website, clarefoundation.org. We'll be right back. That's it for this edition of Santa Monica Update. I'm Tamara Henry.
And I'm Cheryl Johnson. Thanks for watching.